Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. In a recent video when I made this segmented vessel with the lid, I used woodburning or pyrography, I think that's how you pronounce it, to decorate the lid. The motivation in this case was an ugly lid. But I had been working towards this for some time. A year ago, I attended a class by Graeme Priddle where he was using a lot of wood burning, and more recently from Molly Winton for her wood burning techniques. So I was in the process of gearing up for it, and part of that process was to make what Graeme called a vaporizer. What is a vaporizer? It is a battery charger with half the guts removed, a standard household dimmer switch on the side to control the current, and then attached to a pin. Now, I have to acknowledge Graeme's contribution to this, and also contributions from Pete Gibson and other members of the Cascade Woodturning Club who helped me through the rough spots since I'm not an electronics guy. So let's make a vaporizer, and at the end, as a special treat, I'll show you just how much power this thing packs. At this point, I have drilled a center hole and 2 screw holes in the side of the case for the dimmer switch. I'm using a Lutron push-on-off dimmer, and it's 600 watts. This packaging has 3 colors of knobs to choose from. I think that is the -3K in the SKU. Whoopee! Now as I open the case, I'm voiding any warranty on the charger and taking full responsibility for its safe operation. I cannot blame anyone else for getting hurt or burning down my house. There's 3 screws on each side and 3 more on the bottom front. I'll start work on the 110 volt side, which is the right side of the charger as I look at the front. I'm going to follow the flow of electricity in the unit. As the cord enters, it has a black wire or hot, a white wire or common, and a green wire or ground. The black wire goes to a PC board. I cut the wire as close to the board as I could. Then I unscrewed the PC board and clipped off the white wire to the PC board. I stripped back the insulation on each remaining wire. These wires were not long enough, so I cut additional black, white, and bare wires and stripped back the insulation. Mine were solid wire, but stranded wire would have been better due to its flexibility. I colored my white wire black since it would be a hot connection. Next, I mounted the dimmer switch on the side of the case. Fortunately, the nuts and bolts from the PC board were perfect to anchor the dimmer switch. Next, I spliced in a black wire between the incoming black wire and the input black wire for the dimmer switch. I spliced the output black wire from the dimmer switch to the black wire going into the transformer with my black painted white wire. I had to clip the green ground wire so that I could tie in the ground wire from the dimmer switch. It also needed a splice wire. I used the bare copper wire. On the left or 12 volt side of the case, I had to backtrace the wires going out to the battery clamps. I used some of this heavier wire for the 12 volt side connections. I removed the PC board from the top back left of the case and some component from the left base of the case. I also removed the LED lights from the front of the case and a PC board whose use I do not know. A switch on the front controls emergency engine start, trickle charge, and quick charge. This is a double pole, single throw switch. Here I decided to have 2 power jacks controlled by salvaging the switch. I removed the switch and soldered the red wire coming from the front gauge to the center connect of the switch. This will control which of the power jacks will have power. I decided to put my power jacks in the front panel where the LEDs had been next to the power meter. I had to drill out the holes to accept the jacks. What a mess! I cleaned it up with a Dremel tool. Then I soldered a wire from one switch pole to a female panel mount jack and repeated with another wire from the other pole to another female panel mount jack. The wire came from the charger's output wire. I soldered another short piece of wire to each of the other connectors on both jacks. Then mounted the female jacks to the front panel. These two wires then are connected to an original black wire running from the back panel of the charger. The back panel looks like it is a large common ground for the 12-volt current. For soldering help, please watch somebody that really knows how. That's not me. My big fingers do not do well with tiny little nuts and bolts in tight spaces. With that, I'm finished with the guts. I'm crossing my fingers that it will work when I put the screws back in to hold the case together. Fortunately, it works. As a bonus, the gauge also works in a limited range. Now let's see what kind of power comes out of this thing. Okay, let's apply some power to this. This is heavier gauge wire than is in many of the other tips, so it will take a little bit more current. So let's see. Let's apply some power to this thing. I have my leather apron on, and I'll put on a face shield. More power, Scotty. That's a lot of power. More power, Scotty. That's a lot of power. With that, we'll see you again next week with another wood turning video. I love feedback via your comments. Meanwhile, please like this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to both my website and YouTube channel. Always wear your full face shield. Goggles are not enough. Until next time, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.